to order. Roll call.
There are 21 supervisors present. Supervisors Belsky and O'Day are excused.
Okay, also present is Garrison Bryan from the Legislative, J.J. Castro from Joint Services, Olivia Parrish from PDAC, and Mary Tango from Human Services. These are the youth in governance with us tonight. Welcome. Citizen comments. Any citizen wish to speak? Please state your name and address and
Lori Hawkins, 18513 102nd Street, Bristol. In 2021, June was declared Pride Month by retired County Executive Jim Cruiser. County Executive Kirkman ordered that all prior executive orders concerning flag usage on county properties rescinded at the end of May of this year. Although this executive order is cloaked in verbiage about which flags shall be flown versus which may be flown on county property, the fact remains that the pride flag is missing. It's become commonplace for the pride rainbow flag to be flown outside government buildings in a show of solidarity for our LGBTQ+ communities. Kenosha Mayor John Antaramian decreed in 2021 also that the pride flag be flown at Navy Memorial Park for the month of June, and that Kenosha recognizes Pride Month. The pride flag is also flown outside our capital. The number of communities flying the pride flag at official buildings is growing, and that gesture of support, though a small step, shows that a community is making steps towards inclusivity. County Executive Samantha Kirkman has taken our county backward on addressing issues of equality and inclusion. The fact that the Pride rainbow flag is not flying during a time when people within the LGBTQ+ community all over our country are experiencing a sharp rise in public attacks through legislation and extremist groups is reprehensible. Flying a flag might seem like a small thing, but in this case, it has shown people of the LGBTQ+ community that their county recognizes, quote, the battles it has forged for equality and social acceptance, end quote. That's the way that retired County Executive Cruiser stated it in 2021, and that recognition is even more critical in 2023. The Executive Board of the Kenosha County Democratic Party and I, as their chair, denounce County Executive Kirkman's decision to exclude the pride flag for the month of June from the front of our county courthouse. We ask that it be put back in its rightful place immediately for the duration of Pride Month this year and every year of her term. And I also ask for this governing body as our representatives to advocate for that step. Thank you.
thank you. Any other citizen comments? Any other citizen comments? Any other citizen comments? Seeing none, citizen comments are closed. I have no announcement at this time, so let's move to supervisors' reports. Supervisor Nadweski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just like to provide an update to the county board that at the state level, as requested by the Human Services Committee, in my other role, I have made a budget motion according to the resolution we forwarded on child support that was submitted today. We'll be looking forward to hearing from the Joint Finance Committee on that in the coming weeks. And also, in about 2 weeks ago, the Joint Finance Committee did approve 2 assistant district attorney positions that we asked for. I made a budget motion with Senator Wangard at the request of District Attorney Mike Gravely. There were 44 positions in the governor's budget. This is related to the the 2 temporary prosecutor positions that DA Gravely asked for last year that were funded by state ARPA funds that this body approved. They are now permanent positions in the state budget. So out of 44, only 3 were approved and 2 came to Kenosha County. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Supervisor Stock.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Public Works Committee met last week Monday. The email should have been the individual facility reports, division reports for the Public Works Department should have been emailed out to everybody. If you did not get those, reach out to me and we can send you all the details. I will make a few call outs though. Of projects that are ongoing in Public Works. The Kemper Center utilization plan is underway. There was a stakeholder meeting last week on the 31st and the 1st. I did attend one of those and got to sit down with the consultants. We had a great conversation about Kemper Center and was very informative. I know there's also a community input survey that is being done as well. So I would encourage everyone to take a look at that and submit their feedback for the utilization study. I also attended the Parkside Multi-Use and Mountain Bike Trail ribbon cutting ceremony with the executive last week Friday. It was very well attended. A lot of mountain bikers and runners both out there for the ribbon cutting event for the trails that are now open. I would encourage everyone to go check them out. There is now signs. There is now clear areas for walking and mountain biking. I used to go there quite a bit and would always get lost, and now they're working their way to the phenomenal job, our parks staff, of laying out the trails, putting the signs out so that more people can enjoy the great parks that we have. Over in Highways, County A and Y roundabout construction is underway. The anticipated completion date is fall of 2023. No major updates for the other construction projects. They're all ongoing. Over in Parks, we have the Old Settlers Park Band Shelter is substantially completed with the ribbon cutting to occur on June 8th at 6 p.m. with a performance by Bestie Aid and the Well-Known Strangers. I would encourage everyone to come out and to that as well. I know there's a lot of excitement for that band shelter opening up. Seasonal hiring is continuing for the Facilities Department of Kenosha County, and for our Human Services renovation and relocation bid package, the shell and site bid package received bids on some divisions, so project re-advertised for division bids not previously received. Round 2 of bids for bid package 1 was due May 19th. Bid package 2 interior build out is anticipated to be bid in June as plans are nearing 90% for the Human Services building relocation. That is the major call-outs that I have from our report. Human Services Committee also met tonight. We passed 4 resolutions. There was 2 appointments that passed the committee. The appointment of Veronica King to serve on the Commission on Aging and Disability Services, as well as the appointment of Dustin Feeney to the position of Director of Workforce Development. And then we also passed 2 resolutions, one to modify the Division of Aging, Disability, and Behavioral Health Services for a grant, the Independent Living Supports Pilot, and then we also passed a resolution to create a new position called the Community Prevention and Education Specialist, and those will be before us at our next board meeting, and we'll have more details on those as well. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Berg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick report on Racial and Ethnic Equity Committee. Brian Gonzalez was voted as as vice chair, and Commissioner Solis was voted in as chair. Subcommittees were handed out to include law enforcement, health, and housing. All the committees are full except for my committee, which is health. So if anybody in the community is interested in getting involved in the health subcommittee, there is an opening for that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Supervisor Grady.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Question for Public Works, either Supervisor Stock or Supervisor Nordegian. How are we doing in Twin Lakes on the eastern side of Lake Elizabeth and Lake Mary with that road construction? Can we have some updates or details, please?
Who wants to answer that?
Supervisor Carroll.
Supervisor Carroll? Nordigan.
Sorry. Through the chair, I think I'd like to send this over to Supervisor Carroll. He just drove through it, and he maybe give us a bit of an update. I don't have anything on a finish date yet. There's supposed to be sometime between the 15th and 30th this month. We'll see if our crack engineer on the county board here can give us any enlightenment.
Supervisor Carroll.
So Supervisor Grady, and the rest of the board, this is a project that's close to me, so I've been keeping an eye on it. The two updates that we received at the Public Works Committee were that they were still waiting for some castings for the manhole covers. They were not sure if they were going to get all of them in time or not, but they knew that they had most of them. So that was going to affect the final lift of paving and some of the final work on that. So I don't have an update on that. It's changing daily and weekly. So I know that their hope was to try to get at least the first lift on before the 4th of July season. They might be doing better than that. I don't know for sure. I did tour it yesterday. I drove through, and it looked like they were approximately the whole length of the road has been milled, and then the paving company was there, and they were approximately 40 to 50% complete on grading for the new paving to cover up the trenches of the storm sewer pipes. And it still looked like there was some utility company work going on there with Mead for relocating the gas line and the utilities as well. That was another holdup that they mentioned at the Public Works Committee meeting. So looks like it's going well. It's the early June, so they're on track for getting most of the paving down, is what it looks like, on time. But there's still a couple of hang-ups to the castings and the utility companies.
Thank you. Supervisor Grady, does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And if we could have updates as we go along here, we'll have another county board meeting, of course, before this month terminates. So just give us an update, and we'll keep our fingers crossed, because I know for the residents out there as well as the visitors, it's a bit of an inconvenience, but we're looking forward to the finished project. Thank you. Those are my comments.
Thank you. Supervisor Norton, did you want to add something?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. And just in response to that, Supervisor Carroll had mentioned about the manhole covers not having all of them. That was because the original company that we ordered them from had a fire and knocked 50% of their production out, so we had to change companies. So we did have, a plan to do that. But secondly, I'll get a hold of Shelley tomorrow and get any information I can, and I'll email it out to the county board if there's anything more than, or an official update if she has anything more. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other supervisors? Supervisor Basho.
Thank you, Chairman. It's not a committee piece, but a call out to Matt and the Parks team. Approximately a year ago, I approached the executive about what can we do to call out accessibility for those who may not be able to get outdoors and enjoy all of our parks. And it came from my first walkthrough over at Pringle, and I said, not everybody can enjoy this. What do we do? And Matt and his team have done an exceptional job of updating the parks app. It's an Apple app that does call out which parks are level 1. In other words, easy grade, flat terrain, easily accessible by a handicapped individual as well as somebody that's elderly or just looking for a nice time in the park. And I'm happy to say we have miles and miles of accessible parks in our community, in our county, and I just wanted to call out their work on that. They've done an exceptional job. Our parks are precious to us, and it's wonderful to have everybody have the opportunity to enjoy them. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other supervisors? Any other supervisor comments? Supervisor Stock.
Yes, thank you for the reminder. I forgot to mention our next Public Works Committee meeting in June for Saturday the 26th will be held at Pringle Nature Center. We were supposed to do it this past month, but we had to reschedule it, so we will be at Pringle Nature Center. There will be an open house from 5:30 to 6:30, and we hope to have the accessible wheelchair that the county has been in the process of getting in our hands so that our community will be able to have full use of the trails with that accessible wheelchair that we've been working on. And they are supposed to have a demo for us there, so anyone that wants to come out and see the chair in action will be able to do that at our next Public Works Committee meeting on the 26th from 5:30 to 6:30 is the open house. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Rodriguez.
Was that just, that's the 26th of this month? Is that correct, or next month?
Supervisor Stock?
June committee.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other supervisors? Any other supervisors? Seeing none, supervisor comments are closed.
County Executive Appointments, 11, David DeVito to serve on the Kenosha County Zoning Board of Adjustments.
Refer to planning and zoning.
New business, Resolution 20 from the Legislative Committee, a resolution to request the State of Wisconsin revise solar energy system law. This passed unanimously at committee. Supervisor Stock was excused.
Supervisor Thomas.
Yeah, move the motion.
Moved by Supervisor Thomas, second by Supervisor Poole. Supervisor Thomas.
Yeah, I'll defer comment to Vice Chair Decker, she's the originator of the resolution.
Okay. Vice Chair Decker.
Thank you, Committee Chair Thomas and Chairman Nudo. So this resolution has to do with local control. If any of you are, all of us are probably aware about the solar fields that went into the town of Paris. Based on the size of that solar field, the municipality has no control over anything of the solar fields. So this resolution actually came from Columbia County. We all received it. I noticed it, sent it to Andy Bueller and asked him if we could work on something like that. So we worked together on this. And what this does is this asks the state legislature to change the law to give local control to for these large solar farms. And it also asked the legislature to remove what I like to call a loophole in the law where currently there's restrictions that a utility company has to follow when they build solar fields. But if an outside company builds the solar fields, they do not have to follow those same restrictions. So they will come in, build the solar field, and then lease it or sell the lease to the power company. So that's kind of a loophole that's in the state law. So this resolution also asks the state legislature to change that. So this came to us from Columbia County, and actually over the weekend or Monday, we got the same resolution that Lafayette County passed this also. If you have any questions, let me know.
Any other supervisor? Supervisor Rose.
Just kind of walk us through this a little bit with a little more detail. Are you saying that the county would have veto authority?
Not veto authority, but they actually can give input and things like that. The wording that's indented is actually state law. So what's crossed out is what we're asking the state legislature to remove. Right now, when the solar fields came into Paris, the town of Paris had no input, couldn't stop it, couldn't request anything. Now they are allowed to ask the solar company to work with them, but the solar company is not required to work with them and for the solar fields or anything like this. So this is actually asking for local control. The smaller solar fields are under local control. It's the larger ones that are not.
So if a company came in and the community was opposed to it, and the municipality voted, we don't want it, would that stop it?
Yes.
Or what?
If right now?
No, under your proposal here.
Yes.
So it would require both state and local approval to go forward?
Well, not necessarily approval, but local control, yes. And when you're talking about the county, or Paris, different towns,
Yeah.
that actually falls under a county zoning because Paris and Randall, the various towns actually work under the county for zoning.
And to compare with the current, if the community is opposed and the state approves, it doesn't matter what the state, the county or municipality
Correct.
opinion is?
On the larger solar fields, yes.
So on the smaller ones, you seem to,
There is local control on smaller solar fields.
okay, and what's big and what's small?
I believe it's do I have the wording in here? I think it's 100 megawatts. It's listed in the second whereas. That anything that greater than 100 megawatts is not under local control. It's by the state and the PSC.
So Public Service Commission currently approves, and that's it?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Berg.
I'm a little confused. Yes, I voted for it on committee level, but through the chair to the vice chair. I spoke with PDEC today, and when I spoke to them, they expressed concern that they weren't able to go through it or vet it, but you said otherwise.
Yes, I sat down with Andy Bueller in a meeting, and we went over the resolution.
Okay. Okay, interesting. I didn't get that information. All right, I guess that's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Grady.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Taking a look at the current legislative schedule and where we're at, could you anticipate when this might be taken up at the soonest by our state legislature? Do you have any prognostication? Supervisor Nedwesky, you can perhaps weigh in on that.
Supervisor Nedwesky, you want to answer that?
I do not have any prognostication on that, but I can get back to you at the next meeting.
That'd be good. We'd like that. And also for Supervisor Decker, 100 megawatts, is there any idea, like geographically, acre-wise, size-wise, is there some rough correlation that we have so we can get our minds around this?
It's very large. I can't remember how many acres Paris, if Supervisor Bashaw remembers, how many acres is under solar fields now in Paris, if you remember?
Is approximately 5,000 acres of agricultural land for solar arrays comprising approximately 1,570 acres of property.
Okay,
There you go. Thank you, Supervisor Bashaw.
good. So perhaps at the next county board meeting, some of these things we're talking about here, we can bring back and talk about again, just so we can be kept apprised on this, because I think it is good legislation. I think it's a good proactive approach to have, but let's just maybe get more of the details as they emerge, so that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Nedwesky.
Just in response again to Supervisor Grady, obviously, we're in the state budget process right now, so I would expect that this would not be anytime in the near future, possibly in the fall.
Thank you. Supervisor Rodriguez.
I just wanted to offer an answer to Supervisor Grady to his question more broadly, not just the Paris development, but about 400 to 500 acres is needed for a 100 megawatt solar farm.
Kim? Any other supervisors? Any other supervisors? Seeing none, all in favor? I'm sorry?
Roll call.
Roll call, okay. Still working on that? Okay, it's all right, take your time. Or we can do it.
Just take a minute. We're just trying to figure it out.
ready?
It should be good now. The resolution passes 20 yes, 1 no. Communications 20, communication from John Moyer, a resolution authorizing transfer of a parcel taken by tax deed to the city of Kenosha and forgiveness of taxes and assessments.
Refer to Finance Committee.
Claims 2, Luke Riedlinger, property damage.
Whatever she say, refer to Corporation Council.
I'm sorry. That's actually pretty good talking today for me.
Yeah.
Approval of the May 16th, 2023 minutes by Supervisor Wamble.
Supervisor Wemble.
I move to approve the May 16th meeting minutes.
Moved by Supervisor Wemble, second by Supervisor Uas. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to adjourn by Supervisor Rodriguez, second by Supervisor Berg. All in favor? Opposed? We're adjourned.